Hi everybody and welcome back to my backyard once again. DJI finally has some real competition because this is the Potensic Atom 3, a foldable, affordable, sub 250 mini drone, and it's the third iteration of this line. I have tried the Atom 1 and 2 in the past months and years, and it was for sure affordable, but there were some trade-offs you made, especially with the camera quality. This year, Potensic didn't hold off at all. They put an incredible camera inside this drone, and also finally you have a radio with the screen integrated into it, so you don't need your phone anymore. Let's open the box and see what's inside. You get a very nice carrying pouch, and everything is inside there. The opening is super cool with this double zipper. This lip is magnetized, so it doesn't open by mistake. And it also comes with a shoulder strap and some hooking points for accessories. Inside the pouch you will get the usual manuals, cables and tools and spare propellers. A new radio controller, which finally comes with an integrated screen. A totally redesigned battery pack, which finally charges with USB-C, and it also doubles as a power bank. And lastly, super protected, you will find the new drone. And it comes with a very nice cage to keep everything nice and tight inside. Let's open it and boom. And finally, let's talk about specs, starting from the new PTD2 remote controller. This is very nice because this drone comes in combo both with the regular style controller where you attach your phone to it, but if you want something more convenient, this is it. This radio has a very nice 5.5 inches 1080p screen with 900 nits of brightness, which is 200 more than the DJI RC2, which I have used, and this is brighter. Today is an incredibly bright day, so it doesn't show on screen, but I can totally look at it. It's the same brightness as a high-end smartphone. The software works great, is snappy, runs Android, and the interface is very polished and very reminiscent of DJI, which is a good thing because everything looks pretty nice. And it's gonna be compatible also with the Atom 2 and 2S. The radio feels super solid and great in the hand. The controls are very nice and ergonomic, and you also have two sliders, one for tilt, one for zoom. And at the top you have two foldable antennas which you can place however you like. They have improved the transmission system, and now it should be able to do up to 16 kilometers in FCC regions like USA, China. In Europe, it's gonna be much less, like 1 to 3 kilometers maximum. At the bottom you have attachment points, so you can put a neck strap, a micro SD card slot so you can do internal screen recordings, and a USB-C for charging, and it supports fast charging. It charges in 1 hour and a half, and you will have about 3 hours of runtime. Talking about the drone, it has received quite a bit of improvements, starting from the shell and the aesthetics. Now it looks different from the older generations, and it has much more organic lines. The battery is new. You have the normal one, which will give you around 39 minutes of flight time, and also an extended one that gives you around 49, but is not sub 250 anymore. At the back you have the SD card slot and the USB-C. Now finally you can read the content of the SD card directly from the USB-C and also charge the battery. I'm not sure you could do that with the old versions. At the bottom you have the usual altimeter and time of flight sensor to keep it stable even without GPS, but it doesn't have any kind of obstacle avoidance. It doesn't have sensors around it. So you will have to be careful when flying, and especially in the automated modes, but you can buy an optional propeller guard so you're much safer. The camera, on the other hand, is what received its biggest update. It's still on a 3-axis gimbal, so it's gonna be very stable. It doesn't rotate vertically, so there is no native vertical shooting, but it's a 48 megapixel 1/1.3 inch sensor with a 24 millimeter equivalent field of view. So it's gonna be very, very nice. And this finally is a very competent sensor, similar to what you find in the DJI Mini 4 Pro. It supports 4K 60 shooting also in HDR and log. It has slow motion in 1080p. Night shooting is so much better because of the bigger sensor, and it also has 8K photos. Since you have a 48 megapixel sensor, you can crop at 2x lossless, so you have a 48 millimeter equivalent field of view. And finally, it's time to fly. Let's turn everything on. This turns on super quick. This one still turning on. The controller takes about 30 seconds to turn on. I'm gonna show you a little bit around the interface. Dragging down from the top, you have your usual Android settings, and you can even make the controller vibrate, which is very nice. You also have your classic settings, but you cannot do much like going into the browser or that kind of stuff if you're asking. You have a support card at the top. At the bottom you have the Academy with a lot of tutorials. Then you have album. You can see what's stored on the drone or on the radio itself. But here I have a 360 photo you need to transfer to the phone using the smart transfer function. You have the Potensic app on your phone and you can download footage straight there. Then you have the Me section where you can find your account info and also stats about your flight times. And finally, it's time to fly. I suggest you starting from a ground position, but you also have one-handed launch. Actually, I don't even need that. You just need to push the sticks at the center corners and the drone will start once it's flat. Like this. And it's quite silent. See, if I push it a little bit further, you cannot even hear it anymore. We have the robot cutting the grass at the bottom. Interface is very similar to what you get from DJI. At the top you can change your speed settings from video, which is the slowest, normal, and then sport. Let's see how fast it goes. And you can also change all the safety settings like return altitude, maximum altitude, which is 120 meters, and the distance with no limit. You can also update the home point very fast and have it at the RC location or even custom. So this is very granular and well made. It's going 57, 58, probably it will reach 60 in a good day, kilometers per hour, which is very nice. Also, you can see the image transmission is much better than usual Potensic drone. They really updated it. It's smooth enough, not as smooth as DJI, but I'm behind my house, the signal is still quite strong and it's quite smooth, so it's totally usable. You also have an AR overlay of where the home point is, which is very useful. Clicking on the map, you have very different options like this radar. If you click again, you have a little mini map. And also you have different levels like satellite, it will load it, or even this night view, which is very granular again. And you can even create waypoint and plan a mission, which is something that DJI usually doesn't give you at this price point. I'm gonna quickly scrub through the settings so you can see everything. First of all, you see beginner mode, then you have the propeller guard mode, which you need to activate even without propeller guards if you wanna track stuff from low to the ground. I'm gonna do it later. Then you have these return features, dynamic home point. If you are moving, the home point will follow the radio. Very nice. Units, I'm gonna disable the flight safety tips. And you have a bunch of other settings, including battery statistics. Then you can calibrate everything and fine-tune your sticks and knobs so everything becomes very smooth. Then you have the control settings where you can change the axis if you are mode 2 or mode 1 and switch between stable and FPV mode. Then you have your usual camera settings where you can also put grid lines, which I like. Change the color between standard HDR or P-Log, and also the video codec between H.264 or H.265. You can have exposure lock and manually tune definition, which is sharpness, and saturation to your liking, if you find that it over sharpens things a lot. You can check your remaining capacities. You also have defog mode, so when it's misty outside, maybe your lens becomes foggy. I don't know what it does, but I read that it heats up the element so it becomes clear again. This is crazy, I've never seen it. Also, you can add GPS coordinates to your photos so they are geotagged. Then you have video transmission settings, not much here, but you can manually set up 2.4 GHz, 5.2 or 5.8 because it's tri-band. And then you have the about section. You can see the firmware I am at right now, which is one of the earliest, but still very polished already. I'm pretty happy with it. You can quickly change the camera settings by clicking at the bottom. I'm gonna put HDR 16:9 30 FPS. So let's try filming like this. And actually this camera is much better than everything I've seen before from this company, and it's pretty usable. You can also change the exposure. Now, I don't know about the dynamic range. I'm gonna say 12 stops of dynamic range, especially in HDR mode. You also have slow motion, but the slower you go, the more it crops and it becomes a little bit low resolution, but it's nice to have it. You have AI night, which I believe does pixel binning and it allows to shoot better at night, and cine roll, which allows to rotate the whole frame while you film. Then you have photo mode, which has a lot of settings. I'm gonna shoot 8K, is only JPEG, single RAW plus JPEG. Let's shoot these other two pictures and we're gonna confront them all. You can also do different kind of bracketing at different exposures, so you can combine them and have a very high dynamic range image. You also have the interval timer, so it shoots a picture every few seconds, or burst, so it shoots them as fast as possible. Maybe someone is jumping and you have multiple shots. And lastly, you have pano mode, which I think is the first time I see it from Potensic. You have 180, vertical, wide angle, and especially you also have full 360, so it shoots many pictures all around, and then in the app you can combine them into a 360 image. And now let's try the AI tracking modes. It works both on objects and on people. I'm gonna select my house with the finger and I'm gonna do AI quick shots, so it does it automatically. Let's try a pull away. I'm gonna close this window, and if I remember correctly, you have 150 meters. Let's try. Then we have rocket. I'm gonna do the maximum, and basically it goes up like this. Let's try 100 meters, which is a lot.
Maximum altitude limit reached.
It wasn't able to complete it because it reached the maximum altitude of 120 meters. I wish it was 500 meters, but new drones in Europe and in most parts of the world are so limited, it's sad. This is not their fault. I wish there was a way to unlock it. Let's do a circle, and it's actually quite handy because you don't have to pilot yourself. Just be sure you don't have obstacles in the way. Then you have the spiral, and this is basically like a circle, but it will go further. It's gonna be quite similar to the boomerang. And lastly, you have dolly zoom. This one I'm gonna do it on myself. AI track, you also have the spotlight mode, so the drone locks to a subject, and if you move the drone, it moves relative to that subject. Try the parallel tracking. This is like a selfie drone, but you need the radio. It's very convenient, and also if you walk in front of the drone, you can talk to it, but you need to be very careful about what's on the back of the drone. So I'm gonna back out. And the last mode you have is follow. This will follow you from the back like GTA. And here you have less worry of the drone crashing because it's gonna take your same path. I have to say I am pretty impressed with what Potensic was able to squeeze into this drone and still keep it competitive with DJI, which is a much bigger company, and they have a much easier time keeping the price down for mass scale production. This drone sits nicely between the Lito 1 and the Lito X1, which are DJI latest releases. It's gonna be slightly more expensive than the Lito 1, but it has a much better camera, which is comparable to the one of the Lito X1, which is based on the Mini 3 Pro, which is a drone I owned. I went working many times with it. So for sure this camera is very capable. Maybe DJI is gonna have 3-5% better image processing. Both the DJI Lito 1 and X1 have 360 obstacle avoidance with LiDAR in the front. That makes flying for beginners much safer and also is better for the automated flight modes. And even if, at least on paper, this drone goes further than the DJI ones and they have done massive upgrades to the signal quality, I know for a fact DJI transmission OcuSync is gonna be much smoother and is gonna go further with much better penetration. But still, for the legal limits of flying, this drone is gonna have no issues at all. So in the end, I feel like it's a very valid drone that doesn't have too many trade-offs. If you don't care about 360 obstacle avoidance, this drone is perfectly fine. And I'm very happy after the third iteration of an Atom drone from Potensic. They have polished the software so much and they have made such a good drone. And that's all for today. As always, remember to like, subscribe and comment on this video. Let me know what you think about this little drone, and if you wanna buy something, check out the links in the description below, because clicking on them you help this channel a lot. Stay safe and happy flying. Bye!